Morrigan turned and stared at Laine as if she'd heard what she'd written and was made curious by it. It felt so surreal for Laine to see her story coming to life in this way. An old woman sat outside a cottage. The morning sun fell like a yolk into the eggshell. Laine remembered Morrigan was the shape-shifting goddess of war, sovereignty, fertility, and the land. She was Cuchulain's #1 enemy that tried to sabotage him by turning into all these creatures, which tried to kill him so he would not defend Ulster against Connaught. Yet all her efforts seemed to backfire on her. Like many foes, she was once his #1 fan. She would have given up her life for him, and now she would take it. But that was all to come. Laine soon found out that this was Morrigan and Cuchulain pre-war. Morrigan stuck her hands in the milk bucket and was preening the invisible object once more. She was a little delusional when it came to love, forming grandiose visions, and that's what she was doing now. Laine realized as Morgan's fragile-looking hands disappeared, like they were going into silken gloves. When she looked up at Laine, she grinned. She was missing one of her teeth. "Eh?" she said, twisting the stringy thing in front of Laine to see. "Looky here. These are my visions of the life Cuchulain and I will share together." "Huh?" Laine said. She couldn't believe her crazy imagination had created all this from what one of the youth counselors had said. Something about a scientist injecting spider DNA into a cow. "It's true," Marilyn had said. "The cows start to produce these super strong fibers in their milk." Laine wondered how these genetic experiments had made their way into her writing, and how the things Morrigan was putting and plucking out of the milk had to do with love visions. She could only deduce that it was some mishap of nature that made Morrigan's delusions appear so strong and integral that she mistook them for reality. But there was many a woman who'd done worse when deceived by love. Laine felt sorry for Morrigan in a way, but in a way she admired her imagination and ability to make anything beautiful, even things like heartbreak, and how she somehow managed to forge a new life for herself from the depths of her depression. It was beyond her, thinking back to the time she was lying with her head on the carpet of her floor in Montana, when her life felt completely stagnant. She looked at the bull. "This is the same bull from my past," Laine said. "Yet he is different. There's more to him than there used to be."
What's there to hold in the light of this moon? My mind keeps searching, but my heart decides. Thoughts can be cruel, they're not mine to own. The space unravels when you let go.
This is Dawn Laine, Morgan said, the prize bull everyone is searching for. It was like the brown bull had followed her here from her past story to arrive at this one, which comforted her. Still, I don't understand why the battle is being fought over a cow, Laine said. Laine remembered from the story that Dawn was considered the best cow in all the land because he was the most virile, and in those days cows were currency. It is said that his potency alone can knock up 7 heifers in his proximity, Morgan said. Laine nearly choked on her milk. They were sitting down on the grass now, taking a break underneath an overhang. She sat up, and Morgan wiped the grass from her back. But if this is Dawn we're milking, Laine said, how does he have udders? She could still not stop laughing at this absurdity. He's the embodiment of your higher self through masculine and feminine. It was like Laine was reading a review. What was it to be a woman, not necessarily masculine or eccentric, but in alignment with her own strength and authenticity? This project is a manifestation of these energies, Morgan said. Laine didn't really know, but she hoped that in the future this cow story would turn out to be her cash cow, so she could do more good in the world, even though she wasn't sure of Dawn's pronouns. She didn't know how to respectfully address him, but this added to his intrigue in her eyes. Laine wiped the sweat from her forehead. It was getting warm now, and the fruit flies were starting to swarm near the milk. She realized what Morgan meant, that Dawn represented her masculine and feminine traits that were apparently working well now. Maybe her masculine energy was her driving force to continue on with her goals. And her feminine qualities nurtured her with care, telling her she'd done enough when she had, and to let her mind rest.
Thoughts can be cruel, they're not mine to own. The space unravels when you let go.
Magic is real, she said. I keep seeing synchronicities about Italy, Laine said. It makes me feel like that's where I'm supposed to go. Laine didn't know how, but it didn't seem to matter. Maybe all the experiences she'd struggled with would help her bloom in the future. If she ever lived in a foreign land, she'd better understand the difficulties her students at the school were experiencing to become successful in a foreign land. It was nice to have her own classroom because that meant she was respected at least more than kitchen jobs. If teaching was like acting, this was the first time she'd been on stage. She reasoned that she could not have been named after a famous movie actress if she was not destined to become a great actor on a stage, if not to become a great teacher. Business success? Laine asked. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, Morgan said.